guys, Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com, bringing you my personal opinions on the Nike Mercurial Superfly 4. Now, for those that regularly watch my reviews, you know that I like to cover all the details. I break down every single element about a shoe, share some opinions along the way, and kind of give you all the information that you need to form your own opinion on whether or not that is the specific product that you're looking for. With that being said, you guys really seem to be interested in my own personal opinions down below in the comments of pretty much every single review that I put out, and that's what this video series is for, me sharing my brutally honest personal opinions about a particular shoe. Today we're going to be talking about the Superfly 4. You guys really seem to be enjoying this series, so if you do want to continue seeing it happen, be sure to leave your suggestions for which shoe you'd like to see featured next in the personal opinion series down below in the comment section. So, Superfly 4, arguably the most popular top-end shoe on the market at the moment. It's $275, a pretty steep price to pay, but people seem to be paying it and really enjoying the experience with this shoe. I haven't heard of too many people, beyond maybe some discomfort issues, who have bought the Superfly 4 and were unhappy with the way they felt and the way that they performed, which is a very, very good thing. Now, if you talk about the Superfly 4, you kind of have to talk about the Superfly lineage in general. The Superfly 1 came out when I was a little bit younger. I want to say I was 12, 13 years old, and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and at the time it was. It was a very futuristic, very modern shoe. There was nothing quite like it. It was the first shoe from Nike to introduce Flywire technology, had the cutouts and the studs. Really, really cool shoe. I actually have a video on the Nike history of the Nike Mercurial Superfly that actually I made before the Superfly 4 came out. So if you want to check that out, I'll leave an annotation on screen. It's actually a pretty cool video if you don't know the backstory of the Superfly lineup. Then they introduced the Superfly 2, which was equally as crazy. Superfly 3 was kind of just a tweak on that. And now we have the Superfly 4, which is kind of completely different than all the past ones, but much better, I would argue, than all the past ones as well. Now, what's most unique about this shoe is, of course, its mid-cut design and Flyknit construction. You have two Flyknit, full Flyknit models from Nike at the moment, obviously not including the Phantom 2 that only has a Flyknit collar, the Superfly and the Obra, which they really do feel different from everything else out there on the market. And I will argue that out of the two, the one that does feel more unique is probably the Superfly 4. A little bit stiff at first, it takes some getting used to. That's the case with any of the mid-cut models from Nike. But once you get used to them, it's a really, really kind of fun experience to wear this shoe. And it's not just that it's fun to wear, it actually performs the part too, which at the end of the day is what's important. I am honestly not crazy about the look of the mid-cut design. I don't love wearing it, but the way that it fits, the way that it feels on your feet, I can see why they've incorporated it here. I think that the mid-cut design out of all the mid-cut models from Nike works best on the Superfly 4 because it is the thinnest upper. It does have the least amount of restrictiveness in terms of how the upper is reinforced. And it does feel, in my opinion, the most sock-like in terms of just feeling like a thin sock on your foot that wraps really, really tightly. You get that sensation as well with the Obra, but there's just more layers to the material. It's a thicker Flyknit. You have that padded liner on the inside, and it's just not that same kind of less is more kind of feeling on your foot, which is what you get here with the Superfly 4 because there is less material than what you find with the Obra. The Brio cables wrap your foot really nicely when you pull the laces tight. It's surprisingly responsive for what is a knitted shoe that feels pretty soft and flexible once it's actually broken in. And of course the traction is really good. It does have the carbon fiber sole plate that looks really cool, really doesn't have any performance benefits. And if there's anything that I don't love about the Superfly 4, it is the mid-cut design. I'm not crazy about the way that these mid-cut shoes fit in the heel area. Not that it's uncomfortable, but I just find that a standard low-cut design like you would get with the Nike Mercurial Vapor 10 is just more comfortable for me personally. Obviously, I'm more used to that because that's pretty much how 99% of soccer shoes are designed, but this is something different. Once you get used to it, it's not necessarily uncomfortable. I just wish they would have produced something with kind of a low-cut design. And I know some people are cutting the collar off. Honestly, that is not worth doing. It'll absolutely destroy your shoes. This is all very tightly knitted and it's elasticated on top of that. So if you do cut this, it's basically just going to fray away and fall apart on itself. I would say between 1 to 4 uses after you actually cut them. So if you cut your Superflies or cut any of the mid-cut models from Nike, expect them not to last very long, and Nike's not going to warranty your product either because you have, of course, modified it and changed it in a way that it was not intended to be used. So unless you're Cristiano Ronaldo, who has access to obviously a slightly lower cut variation, which isn't really going to change the way the shoe fits in the heel, then I would recommend just sticking with the standard Superfly 4, get used to how it feels, and you shouldn't have too many issues. But overall, it's a really fun shoe to wear. Is it my #1 choice from Nike? The answer to that question is no. I am personally a fan of shoes that are a little bit more padded, generally shoes with a natural leather upper. I've said this before, I'll say it again for those that don't know. The Nike Tiempo Legend 5 is my personal favorite shoe on the market right now, and this is more or less the opposite of that shoe. But if I am looking for something on any given day that does feel completely different and just a shoe that I truly enjoy wearing, the Superfly 4 is one that I come back to from time to time just because, like I said, I really enjoy wearing this particular shoe. The other times that I will bring out a Superfly 4 or just a mid-cut model from Nike in general is if it's raining a lot. If it's really, really wet outside, I know I'm going to be playing in some sloppy conditions, I like to take out the mid-cut models from Nike because they seem to be more water resistant than a standard low-cut shoe would be, which is kind of surprising. You would expect this knitted material to absorb water really, really easily and make your feet extremely wet, but it's actually the opposite. The material is kind of elasticated, so it doesn't absorb that much water, and because it's so dense and so layered, you'll find that the outside layer of the Flyknit will be wet, but the inside layer for the most part remains dry, and because it comes up your ankle and wraps it pretty snugly, it doesn't allow water to actually seep in the sides either. So if you are playing in really sloppy wet conditions, I find that this shoe does keep your feet dry more efficiently than a low-cut shoe would. But that's pretty much it in terms of what I have to say about the Superfly 4. It really is a fun experience to wear. It's a really, really good performer, and there's a good reason why this is such a popular shoe. Is it my personal favorite? Again, the answer to that question is no, but would I be disappointed if this was my pair of shoes to wear for an entire season? The answer to that question is no. I wouldn't be unhappy wearing these. This is a really nice pair of shoes. So again, if you had your eye on a pair of Superfly 4s, and you have the money to spend on a pair, they're really, really good performers and ultimately a shoe that I can recommend. Are they for everybody? Absolutely not. The colors are a little bit crazy, at least as of late. There have been some black colorways, but they sold out pretty quickly. These ones are extremely vibrant. I definitely would not wear them in bright pink like this, but nonetheless, if you want a pair of Superfly 4s, you've saved up the money and you can justify the price tag, then yes, absolutely take the plunge, go for it. You'll probably have a very, very good experience with them because, like I said, it is a really good pair of shoes. So that is pretty much it for my personal opinions on the Superfly 4. Ultimately, it's a shoe that I really like to wear, but certainly would not be my first choice if I was picking something from Nike or just picking something in general. So that's pretty much it. If you have any comments or questions of your own, leave them down below in the comment section. I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.